favorite thing on earth. I just love plants so much, and I'm assuming if you clicked on this video, you do too. Okay, so my obsession started probably 2 years ago when I was actually going through a heartbreak. It just became this like healthy outlet of going to the nursery, and every single time I was feeling down or just like not happy, I would literally go buy myself a plant. So that's kind of how this started, and it's just spiraled from there. And just a little disclaimer, I'm not a plant expert. I don't know much. Like, I don't even know names of plants. I basically am just here because I freaking love them, and I honestly haven't killed that many. Trimming and propagation leads to healthy growth. So the biggest tip that I have that you can take from this is if your plants are looking like they're sad, dehydrated, or just like wilted, cut it back, let it have a fresh start, and it will grow even more from that. The more you trim, the more it grows. It's kind of like a haircut. People always say, you know, you need to get a trim for healthy hair. Well, it's kind of the same for your plant. And I used to just let it have all of its unhealthy leaves on it, thinking, oh, you know, I don't want to cut it back. It won't look as full if I cut it back. I'll just leave these yellow leaves on it. Well, that's the biggest mistake, because the second you take those unhealthy leaves off, you will see growth. So what is propagation? Process of creating new plants from existing plants. There's two different types of propagation, sexual and asexual. I was doing some research before because, like I said, I don't really know that much. I still don't really understand it. All I know is that when you see new growth on an existing plant, if you cut right above the node, I think is what it's called, and you put it in water, it grows. And it will grow and grow and grow into like an entire plant, essentially. Probably my favorite part of my entire plant collection is not even the plants itself, you know, in soil. I like to put all my little clippings in cute little mason jars. I got these small mason jars off of Amazon. They're just spice jars, and I think they're so cute and perfect for propagating, but you can use any kind of jar. Just make sure it's clear, because I made the mistake of using like a dark colored one, or like an amber glass, and it needs sunlight. Spider plants are also really good for propagating. They're probably the easiest one. They grow so fast. This guy is a little unhealthy, so if you have leaves like this, just clip it off. I just use my fingertips, just get all the unhealthy guys out of there. There's this one on my fridge that the pot doesn't have a drain hole, which is bad, and I can tell it's not thriving as much as it could. This guy is huge and it is growing, but I just know that I feel like it would thrive better if it had a drain hole. Most of the time you won't have to repot your plant when you buy them at the nursery, when they come in just a little plastic. I just love gardening and like getting my hands in the dirt. That's honestly what got me into this. Putting my phone down, potting my plants was just the best outlet for me. But yeah, you don't usually have to repot. But if you do, make sure you get a pot with holes in it, because I have made the mistake of getting like a cute pot and it doesn't have any holes, and that can lead to root rot. The roots are exposed to like over hydration. But it's also bizarre because I have some plants that have done great in pots without any holes in the bottom. You just have to be really cautious of how much you water it. If you do have a pot, take like an existing plastic pot and cut it with the holes up so that it's, you know, so there's a barrier between the roots and the bottom of your pot with no holes, because you don't want the whatever. I don't actually know what I'm talking about, but that's just what I've done and it's worked. I think it's been a week now since I repotted this little fiddle that was completely dead. Look at all this new growth. There's 3 new little tiny cutie pies. This is just the most fascinating thing. The fruits of my labor. I have this vine in my kitchen that I love so much. I noticed that it was dying, and I can't see the top of the pot because it's on top of my fridge, so I would just water it here and there Well, the other day I was like, I need to take this down because it looks like it's literally dying. I took it outside, repotted it, and it was basically dead because there was no drainage and the top was just so unhealthy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ah, this poor baby. I just potted these, but I really need to repot this. So I'm gonna just put these tomatoes somewhere else for now, I guess. Ugh. Look at these roots are so sad. I can't believe I thought that there was a hole at the bottom of this. Thank God I did that. And after like 3 days, it's looking vibrant and healthy again. I would say if you're repotting anything, always get something with holes at the bottom. As for soil and fertilization and plant food and all of that, I really never fertilize my plants, and that's something I do want to do because I feel like some of them could use a little TLC. The nurseries that I've always gone to have recommended this soil. Yeah, I don't really feed my plants. So do as I say, not as I do. You probably should be feeding your plants. They probably will love you more. Also, wiping their leaves. I'm not good at this. A lot of my plants have grossness on their leaves. I live in a city with my windows that are always open, like on a busy street. There's so much dust and debris coming into my house probably. I need to wipe down their leaves. Sometimes I just take them in my shower. But then I've also heard that people say not to like get water on the leaves. I do. I think it's fine. As for my watering routine, it's gotten really overwhelming, but I recommend just once a week. I have to like delegate certain days throughout the week. So like Monday will be my kitchen, Tuesday will be my living room. You just have to check on them. Like I said, I don't remember the name, but I talked about it earlier. I don't water this one as often. Same within the bathroom. I don't water those as much because they're getting so much steam from the shower. Bathroom plants are just living, thriving. We all want to be a bathroom plant. Just kidding. If you have a really dry plant in like a plastic pot or something with a lot of holes in the bottom, I saw somebody do this on Instagram the other day. Fill up like a container of water and just used a pot with about, 2 inches or so, and then you put your dehydrated plant that's in dire need of attention and hydration. You just let it soak in the submerged water. Only a little bit, only the bottom is covered. You're not submerging the whole pot. These string of hearts or pearls or whatever they're called are so hard for me. As you can see, this probably needs to be repotted, but how do you do it when they're so delicate? And then as for propagation, all my little propagated babies, I change the water probably every 4 days. I'm not so good with this, but you really want to make sure that the water isn't cloudy at all. You want the water to be crystal clear. Another just basic tip, check on them. Treat them like they're your baby, like they're your dog. Don't neglect them. That's at least how I feel. If you know me, I can't stop talking about them. If you come over to my house, I'm just like, oh, look at my little baby's growing. It's doing so well. I don't know, I just have to like talk to them at least a few times a week. Gives me purpose in life. Where should you buy your plants? Obvious one is your local nursery, because always support local. They are actually passionate about it and are so knowledgeable compared to places like Home Depot or Walmart. It's just like, whatever, bring them in, That's at least my experience. I haven't found any good nurseries around here. If you live in Long Beach and have a recommendation, I went to Armstrong, I think that's what it was called. I don't know. I just haven't found any good ones. If you live in San Clemente, however, go to Shore Gardens. They are the best. I bought so many plants from them. I could just spend all day in a little local nursery. You could obviously go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, places like that. The best place that I've found is Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace. I find they're much cheaper and it's cool to just like trade locally. If you live in Orange County, LA County, I mean, I'm sure they have them everywhere. This is just where I live. Dozens of groups on Facebook with thousands of members. So say dive into where you live and try to shop local. There are websites, but I don't know, I just don't like to rely on that because I have bought plants online. I mean, sometimes they get delivered broken. I also find that they're just really overpriced. The one website I did order from is Pistol's Nursery. I think they're out of Portland, so if you live in Oregon, go check them out. But they were really good. I think one of the plants got delivered broken, but they like sent me a new one or refunded me or something. It's actually this plant. I'll show you the progression. It has just like died and come back, died and come back, died and come back like 12 times. I mean, even just in the past month, it grows a new leaf and then somehow it'll die. I'll water it and it'll come back. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. The snake plant, the ZZ plant. As for Pothos, there's so many varieties. The silver has got to be my absolute favorite. It's just so beautiful and I just love it. Same with the heart. Well, no, I think this one's called the philodendron, the heart-shaped philodendron. So speaking of plants that are easy to keep alive, I would say the monstera, except this one. I'm doing an experiment. I put it in this big jar of water. I took it out of its pot because the pot was just dying from this move. It just didn't look like it was thriving. It was thriving in my old house. What are you trying to tell me? Should I have not moved? Just kidding. I took it out of the pot because I didn't have a good home for it, and I saw somebody on Instagram the other day put it in a jar because essentially this is just like a big daddy propagation. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. I'll keep you updated. I think it's really beautiful to see the roots. I'm just gonna have to make sure to change out the water. So if you've ever done this, let me know in the comments below. I'm kind of scared that it'll die, but there is new growth, so hopefully this will open up soon. The hardest plant I feel like to keep alive, well, I'll talk about a few, but the fern, someone help me. How do you keep this alive? It just sheds. I've killed every one. I want to like it because it's just so vibrant and like big and luscious, but it's a pain in the rear. This guy right here, I'm also, like I said, I don't know the names of anything, but this is probably the most delicate, sensitive, emotional, erratic. It's just like really hard to take care of, and it gets super tangled. I mean, it doesn't look bad right now and it is super beautiful, but it's just like a hassle, and it always has these like super dead parts. Every few days I just come around and trim off the dead pieces. If someone knows the name of this, please tell me. And I mean, it's fine. Another fickle guy would have to be this one. It's so beautiful when it does flower and bloom, and I'm really happy there's new growth, but it's taken a while to get here, and the majority of the leaves just crinkle up like that and don't look too healthy. I kind of want to repot this. I've just always had a bit of an issue, and the top will have, you know, stems like, oh no, oh, like that. That looks like I just get to propagate that. As for hanging and shelving, I personally find that having a shelf is just the best, because then you can just put as many on there. Hanging from the ceiling is still a bit daunting to me. I just recommend elevating as much as you can. That's why I love a shelf, even though shelves are hard to hang, but once you get it hung, you're good to go. The shelves that I got are just from IKEA. They were like $20. I wish I would have made my own, because I know there's so many like DIY floating shelves out there, and I just think they look so much better if you just use like wood. It's way more natural looking. If you have like cabinetry, in my old place I had cabinets that were separated from the ceiling, and so I just put a bunch up there. Here in this place, the cabinets go all the way up, but on the fridge, I love my plant on the fridge. I feel like it just gives so much life. When I take it off every now and then, I'm like, what the heck? This is such a bland white space. As for hooks, there's so many different hooks if you're wanting to hang from the ceiling. I just got these super simple ones from Ace Hardware, the hardware store, and I just like twist them in. You kind of have to like put a lot of pressure. I ran out of them, so I wish I could show you. To put pressure as you're screwing up, and then those work perfectly fine. This is probably one of my favorite kind of hooks because it protrudes out, making sure that the plant isn't pressed up against the wall. It gives it space, and I just think they're so beautiful. There's these, on the other hand, that I have no idea how to work. I tried to use one today and I just haven't figured it out. To like spruce up your area a bit more. Usually when you go to the nursery or the store, your hanging plant just has these plastic hangers, and I find they're like too close to the ceiling. They're never long enough, and I don't know, it just doesn't look good when the plant is like 3 inches from the ceiling and you have this huge room. It looks a little off to me. So that's where macrame hangers come in. I think that's how you say it, right? Macrame. Again, DIY this. You can do it yourself. I wish I did that because these are really expensive, but like I'm not crafty. I don't think I could do that. I hope you guys took something from this. I hope it was informative in any way. I don't feel like a good teacher. I just like to talk about the things that I like. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!